the EDU-TRIBE channel by Maria Onya, and today I will be sharing on instructional delivery. 10 tips that you need to be an effective teacher. There are teachers who teach and students understand and they post good results. And there are those who teach and the students struggle to understand. There's some things you can do that will make you deliver master lessons, effective lessons, lessons that yield results. What we call instructions that work. I know this is very rare in Nigeria because the teachers are not properly trained, and most people who teach did not actually study education. So it is my joy to share these tips with you, especially if you have not learned them before now. Let's go. 10 tips for effective instructional delivery. 10 tips that will make your lessons stand out and your students give you great results. 10 tips for instructions that work. Number 1, the learning objectives, which is the beginning of everything. That's your destination. That's your goal. You must not start teaching without your learning objectives. If you don't know what they are, then these are specific, measurable outcomes. What your students should know and be able to do at the end of the lesson. In fact, after the date, the topic, the next thing should be your learning objectives. You have to write it down and even share it with your students. It must be well spelled out, the expectations. So you have to say, at the end of this lesson, the child will know and be able to do the following. And then you have to break it down. So if the child is supposed to be able to define, you will write be able to define a noun. If the child is supposed to use it in sentences, the child should be able to use nouns in sentences. If the child should identify, you say the child should be able to identify. So your lesson objectives must state what they should know and what they should be able to do. If they're supposed to summarize, write it there. If they're supposed to analyze, write it there. If they're supposed to differentiate, write it there. If they're supposed to label, write it there. At the end of this lesson, these students should be able to draw and label, right? So objectives are very important. It guides the teacher and it guides the students. It helps you not waste time discussing things that are unnecessary, especially when you have very limited time to present that instruction. If your objectives are correct, that is exactly what that child should see in the exam hall. That is what should be on your question papers. So never start a lesson without stating clearly the objectives for that lesson. Number 2, your lesson plan. Your lesson plan should be well planned to capture the objectives. It should use multiple methods to deliver instruction. So you don't just stand and talk. You talk, you show, they act, they drill, whatever. Just be engaging. It should be engaging. You're thinking as an adult, what are the many things I can do to help this child understand what I am saying? Do I need to show a video? Do I need to act a drama? Do I need to draw? Should we leave the class and visit the object? You are creative. So your lesson plan should have multiple methods of delivering that instruction. It should be engaging. And if you have a lot of time, you can even extend the instructions to real life activities. No matter what you do, ensure that they incorporate critical thinking and problem solving techniques in the way you question your students, in the activities they do. Very important. When your lesson plan is solid, then you have checked one point of the box and you're able to deliver. Be creative. Find time to think about what you're going to teach and how you will teach it. The process is very important. So number 2 is lesson plan. Number 3, your lessons should be action packed. Some of you are teaching and students are sleeping. They zone off. They are not with you. It should not be so. From the moment you enter the class or you stand in front of your students, the first thing you say should get everybody's attention. You grab their attention, you understand? And then you begin to deliver and interact. It should be action-packed, highly engaging instructions. It allows the learners to participate. I walk into classes and I see the teacher is asking the question, the teacher is answering the question, and it's just going, you understand, no child is even talking. It should not be so. Allow for participation. Let them express themselves. Allow discussions. In fact, you can include debates, group work, hands-on activities. All of this will make learning actually stay with the learner. So be sure that your lesson is action-packed. In fact, when the bell rings, children should be like, oh my goodness, okay, is it time already? Because they were busy, they were learning, they were engaging, they were expressing themselves. You can't be the only one talking and responding and just moving on when nobody is following you. So please ensure that your lessons are action-packed. Another thing, that's number 3. Number 4, prior knowledge is very important. If you're a teacher, you know what we mean by prior knowledge. That's the foundation for which you're building this lesson. Because in schools, lessons build on the last one, right? Must have been addition before you got to subtraction. So it's important that you understand the need to build on prior knowledge. That lesson should be sitting on something, and it can be anything. You can decide to start with a story. You can decide to remind them of what you taught the last time. They have to make connections. Instructions build on connections. So before you settle into the new lesson, there should be something that will help them relate to what you're about to do. Connect what you're about to do. It is very important that you introduce prior knowledge before you drop. A teacher walks into the class and says, do you remember when we had answers? You're building on something. And then you tell a little story. And then you say, okay, now we want to talk about communication. So you have made connection to something that they can relate to, that will help them understand. That's what we try to do. We take them back to something that they can relate to or connect with, that will help them build on what we are telling them. So prior knowledge is very important, and great teachers use that. Another one is assessment. This is number 5, and this will be a 2-part video. Assessment, formative assessment. Constantly check on learners to see if they are with you. Teachers just drive and rush and run, and the students are lost. A master teacher will drop one information and check to see that people are with him or her, right? So you have to constantly check. You use prompts, you ask questions, you use assignments, you use drill, quizzes, debates, discussions, projects, reflections to check for feedback. So as you're teaching, you're applying these things from time to time as necessary and possible to check that the students are with you, that they're learning. Remember, we have formative assessment and then we have the summative assessment. That's the last one. Before you get to that last one, a lot of assessments should be happening so that the last one will give you the results that you expect. Again, Maria Raphael Onya. Remember, I have listed 5 tips that you should use to deliver instruction like a pro. Your lesson objectives, your lesson plan. It should be action-packed. You should build on prior knowledge, and formative assessment should be ongoing as you deliver instruction. Now, watch the next video for the last 5. Okay, God bless you. Remember to like and to share and stay on this channel because we're going to make you a pro for free. God bless you. Bye-bye.